Not a good weather today in Paraguay, and in particular in this part of Paraguay. This is the place where a Jesuit mission was built when Spain was conquering South America. So let's walk around and let's see what we can see here. Misión Jesuítica Guaraní de la Santísima Trinidad del Paraná. So I guess the red spot is where I am, and everything in Spanish, but we will survive. Also in Spanish, so I will have to wing it. And some local artisan crafts. Maybe on the way back I'll stop there, but let's go to the main entrance first. And by the way, this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Maybe there will be something more in English once I get through the gate here. Yeah, here it says that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and that's the only thing in English. And they have this. If you're blind and know how to read by touching this, you can get the information. But I bet in Spanish again. And what about here? Oh, okay, a little bit more luck. National Cultural Heritage Property protected by the 1954 Hague Convention, UNESCO for protection of cultural property. So let's have a look how it was built, what remains. And I can say it was pretty extensive. This looks like stone, even though it's reddish, it's not bricks. At least that's what I think by just looking at it. Of course the plaster in between is also red. And yeah, they keep it nice and clean here. Wow, the complex was really large. Just the rain is a little bit too much today. I mean, it's okay for walking, but it would have been much nicer without the rain. If I am guessing correctly, this used to be a church, and it does make sense because of the high walls that are still standing. So just imagine the missionaries got the local Guarani people to the church and were trying to convert them, which eventually was successful, I would guess, because all those countries around here are kind of Catholic nowadays. And what was this? Oh, and probably some other buildings on the far side. This looks like some kind of a tower. No idea if they were in any bloody fights, but I imagine that quite possibly yes. Spanish were not welcomed here or anywhere really, especially by local people with open arms. Oh, bell tower. Yeah, that's how they were calling to the mess. Let's take a look here. Yeah, with the exception of church, the buildings were not really high. Only the church and the bell tower were high, I think. These missions are a reminder of the Jesuits' Christianization of the Rio de la Plata basin in the 17th and 18th centuries, with the accompanying social and economic initiatives. Jesuit missions of La Santísima Trinidad de Paraná are part of a series of 30 missions in the Rio de la Plata basin established by the Society of Jesus, that's the Jesuits, during the 17th and 18th centuries. 7 of these missions were located in Paraguay and the rest in the present-day countries of Argentina and Brazil. The mission complexes were attached to reducciones, or settlements in English, and are evidence of a unique urban scheme. While each period had a singular style, all combined indigenous elements with Christian attributes and symbolism exhibiting Baroque, Romanesque, and Greek influences as part of an unprecedented process of acculturation. The Jesuits arrived in this area in 1588. With the permission of King Philip of Spain, the missionaries' goal was to Christianize the indigenous population, of course, but as well as to protect them from the colonial labor system of encomienda, a condition of a virtual slavery. The inhabitants, locals, were brought together and encouraged to adopt a sedentary form of life, basically, and the Christian religion. But unlike other missions in the New World, they were not forced to quote-unquote Europeanize. Many indigenous traditions were retained and encouraged, such as the cultivation of yerba mate, which continues to be a representative regional product today. And the missions were or are located about 10 kilometers apart. Although today the missions are essentially archaeological ruins, their original layout followed generally a similar form, with the church providing the basic unit, the urban core, and the center of spiritual life. And this mission stands as the best preserved urban complex from those times. This was the most ambitious of the missions, with a complex of buildings covering an area of about 8 hectares. The large stone church had a fine dome and impressive decoration. In addition to the main church, evidence survives of the small church, college or school, cloister, cemeteries, kitchen gardens, belfry, native houses, and workshops. So this is how it looked like, the church itself. Pretty impressive. Gracias. It's a shame on one hand that everything is only in Spanish, given that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but I kind of understand it because no one really comes to Paraguay. I mean, the foreign tourists, people from Brazil come to the border city of Ciudad del Este to do shopping, and people from Argentina, but I don't think many tourists from non-Spanish speaking countries come, and even the Spanish speaking folks or Portuguese speaking folks don't exactly visit here much. But I have to say, must have been pretty impressive in its day, especially for people who lived here, natives who didn't have any grandiose buildings and technology that Spanish brought in, the Jesuits. And here is some art on the walls that still survive intact to this day, or so it looks. Oh, and here used to be altar, so this was another church. Well, possibly, if they say so. And it was in a strategic location, kind of on a hill, the whole complex. So they had a view, no doubt. Especially view if anyone was approaching, which I guess must have been important. So I think this will be it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. Take care. Goodbye.